We've got some fantastic views in this Starbase summary because sometimes a Starbase summary can have flyover footage as a treat. Jack actually got up in a airplane here and did some flying around Starbase. I mean, he was doing the flying, he was doing the photographing, videographing, whichever way it is, but caught some fantastic aerial views. Here's the big storage yard with the rocket garden, the Sanchez storage yard. You can see the mural there in the background, the pilings and the footings and the foundations for the Gigabay, where the cranes are there behind the mural in the parking garage, and then those two Megabays on the left-hand side, and then all the little bits and bobs that they store or assemble or work on or retrofit or whatever you want to say in this big storage yard, assembly yard, general use area. Also, got a great angle here looking into Megabay 1, that's booster 18. And then outside with the crown on top, that hot staging strut structure 18.3, the test tank, if I'm not mistaken. There's another shot, a little bit wider. You got the rocket garden in the background. And just look at the footprint of the Star Factory. You thought that the Sanchez yard up on the top was big, but the Star Factory is just about as big. Down the road a little ways on Highway 4, there's the launch site. Pad 1 is on the right, Pad 2 is on the left. You can actually see on Pad 1, why did we fly? Well, there's why. We got in the plane this morning. Because Orbital Pad 1 had Ship 38 on the Star Stool, the Star Adapter, whatever you want to call it these days, and was standing by for its static fire test. Also, look at the marks on the ground from previous static fires where it's created some sort of lines, like force lines or wear lines, I guess you could say, coming out between the legs. And one of the tricks we pull is we try to put cameras in the lee of the legs, like the cameras hide behind the legs, 1,000 feet away or something like that, but you get less plumage in that direction. Not feathers, smoke, vapor, whatever. Stuff in the way so you can't see the rocket. Over on Orbital Pad 2, you can see the two big dips of the flame trench that exit in two directions, 180 degrees away from each other. And then that launch pad 2, yeah, there you go. That second mount with its two QDs. You see the gray QDs sort of sticking into the circle laying down there, the sort of Stargate that is laying down. Of course, you put the booster on there, the booster fires into the trench, and here the trench directs the forces of that booster's exhaust into two primary directions, one coming down from this camera view, one going up from the camera view. Of course, if you're on the ground, it's to the left and right, or just to either side, but making those forces a lot more controlled, mitigated, predictable than the flat Pad 1 design. All the way over at Masseys, got some testing going on. Massey's still not back up to full operations. We have seen quite a bit of testing happening on the test tank there, but over on the ship static fire stand there, you can see the crab stand and the single exit that points out over the Rio Grande in the upper right-hand corner there. Yeah, there you go. That's the Rio in the upper right-hand corner of this one, and there's the ship static fire stand. You can see they continue to work on that. But gantry construction, putting up the structural elements that hold all of the propellant lines that they use to fill and drain the ship during static fire testing, they're getting back to reassembling those. Oh, this is interesting. This isn't at Starbase. This is all the way over the port. This is a small petroleum terminal. Looks like you got a couple train loading stations there, and then you'll probably have, I don't see a ship dock area there, but you do have that pipeline going up and to the left. Interesting. Oh, wow. There's the Ex-USS John F. Kennedy. That's some significant progress in the scrapping operations all the way down to the hangar deck on the back half of the ship there. And the front half still has the flight deck intact. You can actually see one of the elevators. No kidding. All right. So, September 18th, we go forward in time a little bit, and we see Pad 1, and we see the dance floor coming down, affectionately named. I guess it went back up a little bit there, but you got to get that out of the way so that you can do testing. But here, do you see the white lines there? They're getting white right now. They go up the center leg in this shot, and then they sort of turn to the left, and there's those two pipes. And you see how they're white? Oh, wow, the one's going up the side. Rewind that real quick, and you can actually see the frost form on the engine gel lines that go around the side of the launch mount decking right there by that door. And here you can see the big propellant lines melting as well. Go back and watch that a couple times and watch that ice form and go away. Form and melt. whatever. Because that's one of the things that we use when we're deciding, should we go live? Is it like, how far along are we in the testing? Have they started to chill things down or put propellant in the ship? Is it almost time for static fire? We're literally watching those lines. And if you go back and you rewind some and you fast forward and you rewind and fast forward, do an A/B test, like click forward and click back, and you'll see the ice forming. And that is one of our not-so-secret tricks. That's one of the things that we look at when we're covering those tests, watching where the ice is forming on those lines so we know where in the process they are. Because if the line doesn't have ice on it, they haven't put any cryogenic propellants through it, right? So in any event, that's actually really interesting, and it sort of lets you peek behind the curtain a little bit in some of the stuff we look at. There's the chopsticks coming down, and that ship QD swinging over. Of course, the ship QD doesn't have anything to do with this test, because the temporary ship QD is down at the bottom of that shot. Wow, here we are back to this camera again. We are desperate to see what happens with this B-18 whatever test tank. But it looks like it reached a failure of some sort. That is a big horizontal vent with a fair amount of force that we don't normally see there. Wow. So I guess that was real time, and then we sped it up a little bit, it looks like. But potentially a test to failure there to figure out what part of that test, or what part of that tank, actually, was the weakest link over there at Masseys. Aha! Look at that. So, over on Pad 2, we were standing by for a test on Pad 1. You can actually see the leg of Pad 1 on the left-hand side of your screen there, and all the vapors from Pad 1 in the foreground. But while we were waiting, Pad 2 said, hey, look at me, I want some attention, and it did a little bit of a deluge test there in the background. Apparently we got another one of these coming. Watch the pad on the left-hand side right above where it says Pad 2, and that's where we should see, yep, another test. This one all the way over from River or Outpost, I think it looks like. Very cool, though, as they continue to finalize the work on that pad. We're going to watch another one, apparently. We had it from a few different angles. Now, I know the first one caught us by surprise a little bit because we were all watching Pad 1 and the ship static fire test that we were expecting, and then in the background, that test happened. And then we started pointing cameras at it like, wait, what if they do it again? So, in any event, here's round 2 of Ship 38 testing. Beautiful day out there that day. Watch the ice on the side. You see the ice rising up the side of the ship, sort of in the shade, so it doesn't have quite the contrast as when it's got direct light. But then they aborted it, and you see the ice start to melt again. Didn't get a static fire there, but they did fill it up some and then drain it out, and we can tell that because of the ice we see on the outside of the ship. Now here you see these lifts go up, and they're working around those temporary, dare I say, janky. If you work at Starbase and you don't agree that that's janky, my DMs are open. You can convince me. Otherwise, it's pretty janky. I mean, it is. In any event, they were looking at that. Really quickly, we hop back over to the Star Factory, got some nighttime shots from Caesar. Hey, also, folks down in the comments, thank you all so much for all of the kind words in the previous video. Passed a lot of those on to Caesar. A lot of y'all were really impressed with those nighttime glow shots. And it does mean a lot. I mean, they're out there, the weather's not great, the bugs and the temperatures, and it's the middle of the night to catch some of this stuff. So when y'all put thanks and you put their name on it, like Caesar or Jack or whoever, down in the comments, it really does mean a lot to everyone when y'all comment and just say thanks. Those are cool shots. So it's like wiping. Is that a polish? That doesn't make any sense. There's not nearly enough. What? What the heck? This crab needs to get across the road. The spoiler's there in the title. The crab sort of like dodged a car, I guess, but it does eventually make it across the road. I wonder, with those little eye stalks, like what does an approaching vehicle set of headlights look like to the poor crab? Like what context does that crab have that tells it, oh, there you go, well, it knows it should get going when something zooms by it? It was like sort of being cautious for a while there. This concludes the nature segment of this Starbase summary. Luckily, the crab did, in fact, make it across the road. Over to Pad 2, still says stack me. Maybe that's going to stay there. I'm going to guess that that's going to stay there until they actually get a rocket on the pad. I don't know what the rules are. I didn't make them. I don't know if anybody at SpaceX even made them. They might have just forgot that was there. But I imagine that when they get a rocket up there, that's going to go away. Got some grinding work there, it looks like to me. That doesn't look like welding because it's not a shower. It's more of like a directional bit of sparks, right? Some lift work. Hey, nice, good catch. So there were 2 good catches there. Could have just gone the rest of the way in the lift, but how does that enhance your skills? Your hand-eye coordination. Another cool nighttime shot here. Caesar's always going out there. I love the shots with the stars in the background. We need to send Caesar to space with this camera and lens system so that we can expose the foreground. Like Caesar on the moon, and the foreground is exposed, but also the background is exposed because of this fancy, fast nighttime lens that Caesar's using. Anyways, folks, hey, real quick, here's the plan. We see closures for Monday and Tuesday. Hopefully they'll get through that static fire. How has it affected the launch schedule? Well, they've gone a couple days behind, but did they have that time in the schedule, or is this going to push it back into October? I guess there's one way to find out. We'll be watching on Starbase Live and keeping up with you with the articles and all of the coverage we do. You know how to find us. If you want to get back, don't forget to like and subscribe or whatever. Thanks for watching. We'll see you nerds later.